Uh, let's start. All right. So, if you read the actual announcement, sorry, what's up, bro? Okay. Um, if you read the announcement clearly states that this is gonna be my last time addressing USD. Excuse me, I'm eating dinner while I'm talking. Um, addressing USD as with blockchain. It's just we have to drop this ideology. Drop it now so you don't got to sit here and cry about you feeling like you lost all your money when you didn't lose the money, you just lost the value, USD value of the crypto. So now crypto is a tool. That's all it is. Blockchain is where things are. Blockchain is where you read the white papers. Blockchain is where the value is going to sit on. Crypto is just the exercise of the blockchain. So to move the value around the blockchain, you got to use the crypto. However, we've been trained to look at crypto like a security when it comes to, oh man, XRP about to be $5. And it's not about that at all. So I'm gonna break all that down tonight. I'll probably get into Ethereum. Well, I get into XRP first, and then we get into Ethereum, and then we'll go into ChatGPT, so I can like show y'all like, hey, this is what it is. So, and if we got questions, bro, engage, dog. And the reason why I say engage is because the more they build AI and the more they build these humanoids, they're going to be sentient. They're going to be picking up on your emotions, and they're going to try to be human-like as much as possible. And so it's like embrace your humanism, embrace us talking with each other, embrace us having ideas, embrace all of that. Because eventually there's gonna be so many people that don't want to be human no more. They just want to be cyborg. And it's like embrace that. So excuse me. Let me share my screen. So yeah, like please engage. All right. Y'all can see this? All right. So pre-funding is a type of insurance, all right? So these pre-funding insured accounts are being emptied because they're not needed no more. So let's just say I'm Bank of Japan and Butler, you're the Bank of China. All right. And I need to send you 5 trillion yen for a load of rice. I'm just using hypothetical numbers. All right. Uh what's up, Sir Bev? What's up? Who else came in? Hey, Miss Carolyn. So I'm gonna send it to you, but I already got so much money in an account just in case if the transaction fails. I already insured the transaction with so much pre-funding. You see what I'm saying? All right. If I'm sending you money to transact cross border, all right, I have to hold your currency just in case if we do business with each other. I have to insure the transaction, so everybody got to hold each other currencies. That's what SDR and all this other stuff with IMF come in at. Like everybody holding each other currencies just in case it fails, because we're doing cross border payments with each other. So XRP came along. It's like, hey, y'all don't have to do pre-funding because y'all can be on the same blockchain but different ledgers. but these ledgers can interact with each other to where you don't really need to hold each other currency no more. Now you could just have CBDCs exchanging value with XRP. So as we trade with China or anybody, the NFTs that's going to be tokenized and all these things that we trade with. So anything we trade, oil, cars, Buicks, like stuff like that. Anything that we trade with gonna be on NFTs. But the value and ownership of those NFTs are going to be on the blockchain. But to move that around, you need a medium of exchange, which is XRP. You see what I'm saying? So now, when it comes to money with Forex, we don't need to hold each other currency no more because now nobody's using fiat no more. Everybody's using CBDCs and stable coins. So this cross-border payments now doesn't have to be so long. It doesn't have to be insured. It could be trustless because now we don't need to sit here and worry about central banks and all this and that and that. So pre-funding is being depleted. That's why like a lot of these uh prop firms and stuff like that, because it's like ain't no money there. There's no money there. Nobody's funding these accounts. All right. So uh that's why when it comes to USD, or let's just say fiat, because not just USD. When it comes to fiat, uh value is gonna be different. It ain't gonna be in no tangible physical form. It'll be in the form of an energy. And that energy is going to be on the blockchain. But it's the only way you exercise that energy. When I say energy, I'm talking about money. The only way you exercise that money is through crypto. So just because you hold the tool to exercise the money doesn't mean the tool you use is valuable if you're not exercising money that you have on your own ledger. So I'm kind of I don't want to lose nobody on that. So um now last time we talked about Ethereum. All right. So I'm gonna break this down again. The ERC 721 is still on the Ethereum blockchain, but to exercise these NFTs, to move them, these NFTs, you're gonna need ERC 20. And ERC 20 is the let's say whenever somebody think about Ethereum, all they think about is ERC 20. They don't think about all these other NFT tokens that's on the blockchain. All they think about is ERC 20. So what's happening is everybody's buying up ERC 20, but they have no value to tokenize on these other type of tokens like ERC 721. There's a lot of them. You can Google them. There's a lot of them. Somebody got a question? All right. So this is why I say, hey, don't load up on securities if you don't have value to exchange. Like if you don't want to be accredited, if you don't want to be um if you don't want to buy RWAs, just go after commodities. But if you just buying Ethereum with no sense of being accredited or no sense of buying RWAs or acquiring RWAs, you're just holding something. Just like XRP, you're just holding something. All right. Now, is it valuable? Yeah, but you have to have some type of value to exercise. And now is the time to go get that value. Either create it or get it. Like go acquire it. But don't just sit and say, "Oh, I'm gonna hold Ethereum and Ethereum gonna make me rich." It ain't, because there won't be a USD value. All right. Let's see. don't like using this, but maybe I'm on the wrong one. Oh, all that token right here. Like what? All right, here we go. So I was on YouTube and this white girl. I was listening to this white girl. She was using ChatGPT, and she was like, "Before you ask ChatGPT anything, put you are my brutally honest friend. Please." Can y'all read this clearly, or do y'all want me to zoom in?
No, I can see it.
Okay, all right. Uh, it still says ChatGPT said, "I won't sugarcoat you. I won't baby you. I won't hype you up. Just make you feel good. You're wrong if I say you're wrong." All right, here we go. So this takes the emotional things out of it. This is all logic that I'm dealing with right now. All right. So here we go. So I'm gonna just finna get y'all just the illustration. So all right, here we go. If USD disappeared tomorrow, the global economy would panic, governments will scramble, banks will freeze, markets will crash, most people wouldn't know how to function. This is what I'm trying to get people to realize tonight is that hey, before all this happens, let's kill it now so you can nothing bad is happening. It's just the world is changing. We're moving from the Ford Model T to a Ferrari. So let's start learning how to drive a Ferrari. All right. Stable coins will be as everyday currency. Um, all right. Remember I told you guys that everything gonna be repegged to gold, energy, and commodities? But there won't be no dominant digital asset becomes the base unit. It won't be that because it'll be global economies, but there'll be economies inside global economies. So it'll be like you in America, but you got so many economies in America that's changing value all over. But your value can't change. Your value got to stay the same. So you got to become a commodity. All right. Uh, CBDCs. All right. Whenever you see a blockchain that says programmable money, oh, the first thing I'm thinking is CBDCs. All right. So just like you ride them scooters downtown, if you in the area where you don't need to be, The scooter turn off. So that's the kicker when it comes to programmable money. Here we go. How would your daily life look? Your wallet is an app, not a bank. And that's what you're seeing now when it comes to the Google Wallet, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, all these pays. All right. Payments settle instantly. That's what you've been seeing all over the blockchain. Instant payments everywhere. So no traditional credit card companies. We covered that two talks ago. We covered that credit won't be what you think credit is now. Credit will be a reputation. It won't be a score. Now, there are credit scores that you can go look at. That's if you're going to be using your social. It's something called the FICO Resilient Index and the FICO 10T. So both of these scores talk about resilience and sustainability. How how sustainable are you in an economic turmoil? Like, do you need to rely on the government? Do you need food stamps? Do you need whatever you need? Or are you self sufficient? And that's what the blockchain is going to be about. What the digital economy is going to be about: self sufficiency, the circular economy. All right. Who wins? Tech savvy people, developers, early adopters, countries with strong digital infrastructure. All right. So, somebody like Justin will be, he probably 10x his value, 100x his value, just based on the knowledge he already know. I got a best friend. He's trying to. He just got a pilot license, so he's about to start flying. So he's going to be very valuable because everything gonna be in the air. Logistics gonna be in the air. Developers, early adopters. So like, I remember like I show people certain blockchains and crypto and projects. Like even like Upland, I show people Upland. They'll say things like, it's fake, or it looked like a children's game, or this, and things like that. But if you're an early adopter, you're not spending as much money on infrastructure. You just getting in early. But when things started coming to the forefront, you're already there. You don't got to worry about scrambling. You don't got to worry about um, spending so much money on crypto. All right. Um, Now who get crushed? We already know elderly population gonna get crushed, but you got to think about America. America, the average age in America is 40. Think about that. America is a lot older than it is younger. So if we're going into a blockchain economy, we have to start considering the fact that the new generation, well, the younger generation is going to dominate this economy. All right. But that doesn't mean you as an individual can't do it either. But you can. Like, just read, learn, just engage here. Like, uh we already know the US finna lose its global dominance. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. So when it comes to the blockchain and crypto, USD won't be it won't be a thing. The Like when you go inside a store, it'd be like, give me 5 USDC or give me this. But don't think USDC is gonna be worth. Somebody got a question? Yeah. Hello. Okay. All right. So don't think USDC gonna be a dollar, man. It ain't. Well, it ain't gonna be USD. It'll be more of like I think most of these stablecoins gonna be algorithms. Like to be honest with you, and the reason how stablecoin work. Let's just say when Silicon Valley had collapsed, USDC depeg from a dollar, right? So the repeg themselves, they had to burn 1 billion tokens. You can go look this up. So it ain't. Don't think I'm just talking. So when they collapsed, Silicon Valley collapsed, and most of I think USDC Circle had like $10 billion in that bank in 2023. I think, or yeah, I think 2023. All right, and they had to burn off 1 billion tokens just to repeg themselves. So they had to shrink the supply so the value can increase. So that's where things get tricky at because when it comes to the Federal Reserve, if there's too much money in the circulation, they got to burn it, but they got to physically burn it. But with blockchain, you can just burn it with a computer, you know. And all these stablecoins have their own treasury, the control, the inflation, deflation, because stablecoins can't be inflationary if they're not managed properly. And that's the problem with USDT is because y'all have all these stablecoins out here, but none of them are truly pegged to a dollar. They're pegged to promissory notes or Chinese security. So it's like they're not truly stable. All right. Anybody got any questions before I continue? What, ChatGPT? Uh, all right. What's up, Sir Bev? I see you say you can't talk, but you listen. All right. So I'm gonna use Chris. Chris, what's up, Chris?
What's good, yeah?
All right. So we gonna use you as an example. All right. Let's just say you got kids, right? And you got a girl and you got a mother, right? All right. Do you love them the same? Yes? No? Chris.
My bad, I was walking out the road. Yeah.
All
Um,
right. So I'm not saying the same, but the love you have for your children and your girl and your mother are very high, right?
correct.
All right. Can I buy your love? Like if I wanted that same love from your mother, can I buy that right now?
Impossible.
All right, you see what I'm saying? So that
My
means
value.
your love is valuable, right?
Correct.
All right. So now, can you distribute your love evenly between those two people? Or just you can distribute your love with those three individuals, whoever they are. All right. So now take this example I just said. I can't buy his love because it's valuable and it's valuable through him. But only way his love can move or be distributed to those people, he has to do it. So now let's correlate this to the blockchain. Chris is Ethereum. All right. His love is RWA. All right. And he's moving that love to other wallets that's on that same blockchain. But only way he can do that is with him, but I can't buy it with USD. I can't even value it with USD. Like it has no value when it comes to USD. It's two different values. So I wouldn't try to like. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that differently. When it comes to crypto, when it comes to blockchain, if you don't have the adequate amount of value, please do not go after securities. And we broke down securities with the Clarity Act. All right. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be holding all these securities with no RWAs or no accreditation. And you're not going to be able to use it. But if you have these commodities, which is decentralized payments, and I've been showing them, it's plenty of them out there, but I've been showing the ones that I like. All right. If you have those commodities, you can use it just to exchange with different, like everything you do every day, you can just exchange. All right. So you have to have those commodities. So, but please, if you get some RWAs, whether it's gold, land, encyclopedias, whatever it is, get some RWAs. Because once USD falls off, the value is not going to be determined by USD no more. It's going to be determined by, I just use Chris again. If you got that much love on that blockchain, and it takes a lot, well, it's only one of him. So now there's a scarcity. And then boom, to move that love around, it like it takes him, which is let's say Ethereum, the ERC20, to move that around. However, if he didn't have no love at all, there's no reason for him to be moving or holding Ethereum because he doesn't have no love to move. So please, I think now's the time for everybody to audit their portfolio and please start going after commodities if you're not trying to be accredited. And there's nothing wrong with commodities because that's what people want to use crypto for anyway, just to pay for things. All right. So, but I don't think being accredited is hard. It ain't. It's just a lot of studying because I'm almost finished and it's a lot of studying. But it doesn't matter about because once you're accredited now, when they start passing these legislations for like tokenization and all that, you don't got to go back and study no more. Now you can just be grandfathered in, and that's the beauty about being accredited now. So you don't got to worry about learning all these new laws and new this and that and this and that. So
And also on top of that, they might make it harder in the future as well, being though that will be the only way out. So getting into it early is probably the best bet.
So the CFTC came out and said they want to create their own version of accreditation. So you can wait on that. It'll be a test. It'll be easier than the SEC. But most of us are past that because we all know the private markets. We know how to, what trades, we know commodities, we know these things already. So it'll be easier for us to pass. However, it's like they'll only be dealing with commodities. They won't be dealing with securities when it comes to the Clarity Act. So if your crypto falls under that security realm, I wouldn't be waiting for the CFTC to come up with their own test. I'll be like, all right, let me get in line with the SEC and see what they got going on. Or let me just drop it and go exchange it for some commodities. All right, some decentralized payments or stable coins. Let me go exchange it for that. All right. And then I told you about Securitize. Like if you want something to grow passively, that's another, um, that's a blockchain company that BlackRock opened, and they are giving retail a chance to put their money on the blockchain. And you could fund this blockchain, you could fund this account with stable coins. You don't gotta sit here and have a whole bunch of fiat. So before I continue, you got any questions? Do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, let me get some feedback. Do y'all understand what I'm saying when it comes to all right?
Facts.
But it's nothing like don't think the world is ending. It ain't. It's just the fact that like BlackBerry, we all had Blackberries, or somebody had a BlackBerry, but when the iPhone dropped, everybody stopped using Blackberries. So don't be the one holding BlackBerry if you know the iPhone finna drop. So start preparing for the iPhone to drop. And I'm sorry if I talk in parables, but that's how my mind works. Um, However, like it's so much opportunity on the blockchain if you know how to create value, or if you early, like so much opportunity because it's so plentiful right now because nobody's over here. But when everything slams into a deflationary system, then you'll be like, oh man, I only got 100,000 ZBit, but that was only like $200-300. But now that's going to be equivalent to having, let's say, uh, and I'm not talking about USD. I'm talking about purchasing power. Let's say the purchasing power of 100,000 or 300,000. The purchasing power to where you can start moving around and paying for things with it because of the scarcity and the use case. It's a payroll on a blockchain. So paying people daily without or paying people hourly without waiting till Friday to get paid. All right, and this right here, man.
Let me ask this question.
Yeah.
Just for clarity, I fully understand, but I just want to make sure it's clear. So like when you like, for example, let's say we were to yeah, let me formulate the question better, and I'll come back on.
All right. All right. Circle economy. They're not talking about it, but you see and hearing commercials about it. Basically, it's just everything gonna be reused, refurbished, and repurposed. All right. This is what's gonna turn America into a deflationary economy. So right now, everything is infinite. Produce chickens and goats and this, and you see, like, all right, I have an agriculture background, so I pay attention to the food system a lot. I don't know, well, I do know why, but basically, if you can see the head of cows is dropping dramatically. If you can do some research on that, well, we here. Well, I'm gonna open a new tab.
Um, this doesn't deviate from the topic of my question, but what I was basically going to ask was when these say like you're investing in like I'm gonna just use Robinhood just for the sake of Robinhood, and these companies go private. So they're just gonna like when companies do that normally, they just give you back your money that you've invested, but
Right.
you don't have the purchasing power that you once did because you're not accredited to be able to invest in these companies. So you're
Well,
saying
let me clarify that. All right. So if you are investing in Robinhood and these stocks, these are derivatives. These are not actual stocks. So
right?
every stock got a book entry, meaning this company is uh this company logged you in their book to say, Anthony has 2 million worth of equity in stocks. We'll have 2,000 of our stocks. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it gives the SEC to verify your value. Like,
Okay.
okay, Tesla just confirmed us that you have 3,000 of their stocks. So then you go times that by the market, whatever the market is, then you
Right.
add that to your valuation. All right. So now with Robinhood, when these companies go private, which they are going to go private, because most of the companies you see now are subsidiaries anyway. Um, so they're gonna liquidate your shares and they're gonna delist these companies off of Robinhood. So you're gonna have your money back. However, you have USD. You don't have RWA anymore. So if you just liquidate my stuff and then USD fall off, I'm holding something that's not even useful no more. Because I thought I'll put my money in stocks, and that's
Right.
not.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was just like overly understood.
Right. So with that being said, you don't want to put your money in Robinhood because you're not accredited. And if you are accredited and you get these unregistered securities, um, you wouldn't be buying Tesla and all that. You'll be having the information to go get these new companies like SpaceX and stuff, the new technology they have, and you can put it in there.
Right.
So now your money are 10x, 30x, 100x, easy.
And with the accreditation, you're now getting full disclosure with some of these
Full
smaller
disclosure.
companies with
It's
quarterly
hard.
and
It's hard for
however they
these
distribute that
companies
information.
to. It's hard for these companies to go to jail or get in trouble when it comes to things you see, because when you're accredited, they have to tell you everything. And once they tell you everything, now you have to make a logical decision about, do you want to take this risk, you know? And that's
Right.
what's happening.
Okay. And when they're telling you this, when they're giving you this full disclosure, this isn't full disclosure like, all right, this is like what we're going to, they're just giving you quarterly updates like how they would if you were like,
No,
a major
so
shareholder and like a,
nah, so that's that, and they'll be like, they'll give you their financial statements, they'll give you the footnotes, tell you whatever they're trying to do with this money. Like, all right, by 2030, we need to be we need to have this done. Boom, boom, boom. We're trying to do this. We're trying to build uh what you call that? We're trying to build a combine on the moon. So we're trying to build something on the moon to where we can come back and forth. All right. So something like that. They'll tell you things like that. Not saying that that's what you're gonna hear. I'm just saying hypothetically. The full disclosure will be full. But will there be some NDA signed? Oh yes, all day long.
right. So just for like a practical example, like we've been talking about, like with Upland, like they will be like, hey, we're working on tokenizing or Lana or something like that. They would give you that in like their quarterly update or however they distribute their information to their to people who with this accredited investors.
I feel like nah, that's just too. That's too beneath. That's too on the surface. It'll be something like um, Sotheby is about to tokenize 500,000 of their properties, and they're about to start moving their infrastructure through our economy. And now that the Clarity Act has passed, and the Gene Act has passed, we're about to start allowing people to move things through stable coins rather than UPX.
Got you. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying.
So, um, all right. So the U.S. beef cattle herd is continuing to contract. All right. The inventory has fallen to 86 million heads, the lowest level since 1951. This is not a coincidence. This is not us saying that we can't grow enough cows. This is everything is shrinking. And that's why I keep saying don't panic when you see things shrink, because we're going here. We can't just keep pushing all these cows out and all this methane, and it's going to cause a lot of global warming. I'm not agreeing to this. I'm just saying this is what you're gonna start hearing. All right. All this methane is causing a lot of global warming, so we need to cut back on the amount of cows we produce to keep our carbon footprint small, to shrink our carbon footprint. All right. That's kind of why the farmer industry got messed up with all them government contracts and this and that. Everything is in a wazoo because everything is shrinking. We're going to a circular economy. All right. Eliminate waste and pollution. All these cars. So just like these dealerships and they got all these cars sitting out, and if they don't sell them, you think they're gonna sit on that lot? No, they're gonna get shipped right back to the manufacturer and build a better car for the next year. So everything gonna be reused. All right. However, I use this as an example. Like when I'm grocery shopping, I be seeing like the EBT shawty's coming in and buy like 8 packs of chicken. That won't be the case. You will be on a ration. That's just what it is. Hey, I ain't trying to be funny. I'm just saying, man, I can't even get no chicken because you got your stamps. You know what I'm saying? You got three buckets going through here. And I ain't hating on you, but golly, it won't in the circle economy, it's not happening because everything gonna be rationed. Now, what they gonna say is you can go be self-sustainable and grow your own chickens and harvest your own chickens and get your own carbon credits. But who know how to do that? You see what I'm saying? So things are gonna be shrinking. So reusing. So it's kind of like when me and Justin was talking about the garden he's building when it comes to the water rights and things like that. You think I'm gonna let you catch my water? No, it is my water. Cause I own the air rights. So you're not finna no, that's my water. You're not, no. And that's just what is that's just what it is. So I know,
I'm
man.
catching all that water. I don't care what.
It sound good. It sound good. It sound good. And if you don't act right, I might snitch on you. I might just tell them folk, hey man, the boy would have
You
catch
know
you.
what? You're right. You're right. I can't.
Hey man, I might flip that. I've been waiting to flip him. Uh, but yeah, so just all right, here we go. Shifting to renewable energy. It's a hoax, but it ain't. All right. So this so-called solar panels and stuff like it works, but at the same time, if you really want to clean the ozone layer and stuff like that, you don't push solar panels, man. You plant more trees. All right.
Yes. So,
I'm listening. What's up?
no, I was just gonna mention like the power of Canton coin in terms of like carbon credits and like actually like and auditing companies when they're like exceeding certain limits of certain things, like in terms of like, for example, for the place we work at.
Yeah, I was just about to say that holistic, bro. I be looking around. I be like, man, y'all got more energy than the Bitcoin farm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and they just literally like are like, for example, like we and water, like we generally have like floods every like maybe like once every other week or so like that, but that's straight water just straight coming through. But now it seems like with all of this circular economy, they're gonna start. I think it's gonna be more of a emphasis on paying attention to things like this, because I mean, when you look at California and other agriculture industry areas where like water isn't as accessible, it's usually a bigger issue. Like, these companies are getting heavy fines for going over their certain water limits for months. So
So what
I
I
think it's
think is, I think sorry to cut you off.
like,
What I think, I'm gonna tell you what's going to happen. What I think is going to happen. I think that with these carbon credits, that's where the government and all these B Corps going to make all their money with these carbon credits. If you buy my carbon credit, it can offset your taxes on your uh, carbon footprint. So just like Holistic is wasting all this water with all these floods, even us shredding all that green waste, that's a lot. Like we're not even composting it; we're just shredding it and throwing it away. So that's where I'm like, oh man. So that's all right. So this is why I say, hey, with holistic, I think like we got like 10 rooms right now. I think in the future, I don't know how soon, but I do know in the future to mitigate all of that, they probably shut down like 5 of those rooms. Now you see where the shrinkage come in at. All
Most
right, they shut
definitely.
down. I'm sorry.
Now I'm saying, yeah, I was agreeing.
Yeah, so if they shut down 5 of those rooms, now you got less farmers, you got less weed producing, but then they have better weed because they can pay more attention to it. But I don't want to be the one sitting there thinking, man, is you gonna fire me? I know I work hard. Nah, man, let me go and get my stuff together. Let me get accredited. Let me start moving around. Let me start getting my crypto, this and that. So now when y'all do start shrinking, I'm not surprised by it. So but there's nothing wrong with them letting go farmers or nothing like that. It's just that we mass produce cannabis like chicken, like Tyson's chicken. So now it's like you gotta scale it back. We have to scale it back. But the more you scale back, the more it's gonna be easier to automate. So but yeah, carbon credit is gonna be a huge one, man. That's really how everybody make all they value by just having exchanging carbon credits, you know. So then we gotta sit here and pay all these fines and this and that and these high taxes on stuff like that. Um, just to have those carbon credits. Or they can't even do that. I was about to say if they can like generate their own energy, that can be a form of income for them to sell. Because I think I just seen Trump today. He just I don't know if he signed a bill, but basically he wanted the Pentagon to start buying electricity from coal companies because coal companies produce their own energy. That's kind of why Texas so self sufficient. They got their own they got their own grid. So that's where things are going, man. The circular economy, and I just don't want things to be surprising people.
You you've been saying that for years, D, from the day I met you, which is crazy.
Yeah, but and I learned this like 2 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just um the basically just reusing everything. You probably start hearing commercials about recycling commercials and things of that nature. This is all circular economy. That's all it is. So, however, like I know when they build houses, they build these big old 2-story houses and stuff like that. So to circumvent that, when the s- you know, like this is coming out boxable, where they're using AI to build houses, but they're unfolding it. But you can like, let's see what I'm saying, like stuff like this. You can design your own house and they'll unfold it. And I think these are townhouses, and it's way big. I'm listening.
I was about to say they're actually. Yep, there's some in Vegas, and there's also some in Damn, I just lost the city, but there's another city that in America that's just starting to use this now.
So with that being said, the appetite for bigger houses is going to shrink. But you already seen that with everybody doing tiny house, not tiny houses. They'll convert a van into
Smart.
a house.
Come out them.
No, that
Either
they doing that
not
too.
smart home or the container homes.
So yeah, stuff like that. Container homes, tiny homes. Okay, so they tiny homes. All right. So
Yeah, tiny
but
homes
you
real
already seen
popular
it.
right now.
I'm listening.
No, I was saying container homes and tiny homes are real popular right now.
Right. And just people less is more. But all of that stems back to the circular economy, to where it's a consciousness. It's not them trying to force nobody into, it's a consciousness. It's like, hey, we don't need to be building all these big old cribs that's empty. We're not trying to be like Japan. So, I don't know what
You
this
probably
is.
you probably right because most of the big buildings now, all the buildings, it's more like condos on top of condos, and at the bottom they have some type of storefront, and you can see
Yeah,
them on all major highway. Like right now, like a lot of our malls and stuff, they're building right next to the mall, so everything is so convenient. You ain't got to go nowhere. You just go downstairs and get what you got to get, and come on back, to your crib.
like this.
Speaking of empty, Billionaires Row is empty right now as well. I mean, a lot of it has to do with just real estate appreciation, but yeah, there are like 6 big buildings in New York that are halfway full. So yeah,
So this is just a consciousness. Then, this is a 15-minute city. To be honest with you, you get free membership, rooftop pool, fitness area, garden, courtyard. You ain't going nowhere. Where you got to go?
Well, in that case, they
So
build that all over.
right, but though I say the appetite of the house, like you know how the American dream, I want a big old house with a fence so I can have a fence. Nah, everything is being shrunk. Like people are having less kids. Um, things like it's just what it is. Like, or nobody's not having kids at all. I mean, yeah, the poor generation, not generation, but the poor population, they push out kids a lot. But when it comes to like degrees and people having certifications, man, the guys ain't having churn. So this is what it's about. It's just a consciousness. So my goal is to buy enough land to where I can build my own combine, to where I don't have to worry about um, people. I'm like I'm rather just community. That's all. So, any questions before I move on? So, but yeah. So this is the circular economy is gonna make us deflationary. All right. Um, but there are gonna be two economies. All right. There's gonna be a digital economy. Then there's gonna be the regular economy. And the regular economy is going to be deflationary, and the digital economy is going to be deflationary. So I just gave you how this was going to be deflationary, and we already know how the blockchain is deflationary because tokenization is deflationary, and crypto is deflationary. So what? With that being said, everything is not plentiful. So you have to start acquiring now, not just crypto, but actually assets or acquire a skill. That's another thing. So now you can always have value coming in rather than you just working a job and then now that job doesn't exist anymore. That's what's happening. And you don't have to be like those Americans that's going to be like, oh man, I've been here 40 years and y'all going to do me. Like, you didn't see this coming. So I'm just showing you guys that, hey, things like this is already here. And it scared me at first, but I'm not scared because I'm on the blockchain. I'm doing things. But I ain't finna sit here and save $10,000 in a savings account when I need to be investing. I need to be acquiring. Right? Any questions?
I have a small question. I'm sure you probably answered it already, but what do you think it'll turn the stock market into from a tokenization standpoint? It'll just be,
I was just about to ask the same thing.
um, because being that everybody's value obviously is tied up in to a numerical number.
University, New York City. I was thinking that they pretty much probably try to change ETFs into a coin or something and put a value behind it. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm anxious to kind of figure out is how do they transfer the so-called value that the stock market holds? Because most people's wealth, or a lot of these CEOs and billionaires, their most of their wealth is stock oriented. I mean, look, XAI just did, a whole deal that was all stock, that was no cash, all stocks. So I'm just saying from that standpoint, I wonder how they're going to be able to, transfer that so-called value. I mean, because Elon's only a trillionaire because of the amount of stock that he holds.
All right.
So,
So what's going to happen is the value that, let's just say Elon Musk, the $1 trillion value he has is going to freeze and going to be put on NFTs. All right. This is why I say you got to get it to securitize. Just set up a free account and just talk to the guy. They'll call you. His name Brian, I think. All right. So there's, from a public standpoint, you already can see what's going on. But privately it's hard to move value privately because of the time it takes to confirm everything. So when everything is tokenized on the Dallas Stock Exchange, it's fast because now everything is on NFTs. The ownership is there. The KYC is there. What's gonna make this move expeditiously is the digital IDs. So to answer your question is, once everything freezes, uh, it's just gonna be value exchange for value. That's all it is. Like I give you an example. All right.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, just
All right. You see this? You can purchase private stock using land typically through a structure known as contribute in kind or non-cash exchange. All right. This involves transferring land title into a private entity in exchange for equity, commonly done with real estate, syndications, private equity, or using a self-directed IRA. So basically, you are exchanging value for value. But if everything is tokenized, the value is already there. Only thing that's going to be exercising that exchange is the actual blockchain and the crypto. So if I got all this private money moving through Ethereum and I'm exchanging everything with the ERC20, then there you go. So what I'm trying to say is that uh the USD price of these assets are not going to go away. But those are NFTs. You see what I'm saying? But they are on a private ledger, so you're not going to know you're not going to know the value of whoever holds what because they're all private. So you only going to know yours when it comes to tokenization. However, when it comes to exchanging, it ain't going to be like give me $50 worth of Ethereum to move this NFT to this wallet or to buy this smart contract. It ain't gonna be like that. It's gonna be like, hey, give me 0.002 Ethereum. And then it was going to, as the burn rate keep going and as the value keeps stacking and stacking and stacking, then boom, the ERC20 is just going to be like, all right, give me 0.0003 Ethereum because of the scarcity. But that same 003 can buy you a Chevy Malibu. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. It makes sense. At the end of the day, is that it'll just, like you said, the value will just be transferred into something else that's considered valuable. I mean, the piece of paper that the dollar is only considered valuable because us as humans believe it to be. So,
All right. So
uh,
what's going to happen when that belief is gone?
well, no, that's my point. Is that
I know.
there
I'm
will be.
agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah, right. So that's when things will, I guess, truly collapse at that point. But ultimately, the
So
belief will be in a new system.
Well, it won't be a belief anymore because everything will be undisputed and irreversible.
Okay.
What's up, Justin?
so when you were mentioning earlier about you were saying that these companies will basically liquidate
Not
all these
companies, Robinhood.
stocks. Robinhood will liquidate the stocks.
That you own.
Are you saying that because they're the custodian for
Of the
you?
derivative,
You
yeah.
think and you think they'll be basically targeted? Uh,
But it won't just be
when
Robinhood,
it,
it'll be Webull and because all these are publicly, these are retail apps, right? But
hmm
you can't allow retail investors to purchase private stocks. So we got to delist them. So if they delist them from retail, they got to give you your money back. You see what I'm
So
saying?
do you think there would be kind of like a comparable exchange after they tokenize the stocks? Then they would in a sense be backed by whatever currency, whether it's USDC or Bitcoin.
I'm kind of confused.
Like,
What's
wouldn't there be if once they tokenize stocks, wouldn't there be like a comparable thing to Robinhood for retail?
because most of these, if the company's private, how retail gonna get in? You see what I'm saying?
Not necessarily.
Retail is not allowed to get or to have privy to unregistered securities.
But it'll be a tokenized.
But if it's tokenized and it's still private, all right, and we privatize it, so this stock, I'm the only reason I stayed on this page is because let's just say XRP, they are buying up all these asset management companies and they're tokenizing all of them, so the value is already there. However, let's say Ripple stock is this because this is from their financial statements, they have this much land, they have this much RWAs to say that, all right, this how much we control. So this is the value of our stock, all right? It's no longer inflationary. However, we only got so much. All right, so now let's bring it over to retail. When it comes to when something goes private, let's just like Twitter. Twitter was public. Now he made it go private. Now it's X. We're not allowed to invest in X because it's private. You have to be a accredited investor to invest in it. All right.
So basically, from how I'm understanding what you're saying, ultimately is that you'll be able to create value, but you'll be able to create more value, with your accreditation and obviously acquiring real world assets that will allow you to create your own value as an individual. Is
As a,
is basically
yeah,
how I'm understanding.
but all right, but everybody is their own individual, so everybody got their own ledger. So by you being accredited and having these RWAs, the value is going to be tokenized, and all these tokens are going to be on your ledger. All right. So Justin, I'm still confused,
Me too.
bruh. All right, man. I don't get it. All right, I don't get it. All right, and don't think I'm being
Like, is it going to
condescending.
be accessible to retail or no?
No, it's not
Like
because it's
you
private
just
now.
made you just showed us the Texas Stock Exchange,
But that's the thing is the Texas Stock Exchange is going to be built on the blockchain. All right.
right?
So the thing is, I'm not saying that every company is going to go private. I'm saying that majority of these companies are going to be trading privately on this Texas Stock Exchange because it's going to be 24/7. It's not going to be 9 to 4, 9 to 3, whatever the time
Exactly.
is. All right. However, look who's backing it: Citadel and BlackRock. All right, these are the top biggest Bitcoin ETF filers in America right now. All right, these are private entities. When it comes to private entities, they're not going to allow retail to get rich or to get wealthy. You have to be accredited because it's an unregistered security.
So why are they letting people hold the ETFs? Why are they pushing that now?
Because it's just a fun, man. It's exchange
Hold
fun.
up, dude. But you're
Right
not
now,
really holding the ETF. The brokerage firm is actually holding the ETF.
not the actual Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, they're the ones that actually own. They actually have the ETF. They let you purchase it, but you are still
hmm
bound by their rules and regulations. So the ETFs are not free flowing.
Kind of like Link 2.
Right, they had like two.
Link-
Yeah, so I mean, so basically, you're in a space to where just like how it kind of is now, like there's certain things that retail investors aren't privy to now, and then once everything becomes blockchain, that would kind of make the playing field even. But in order for them to have an advantage, it would have to be that they wouldn't be able to let everybody in.
Who is they? Who is they? Like the advantage is already
I'm talking
there.
about like the BlackRock and Citadel. The reason why he would say that you would have to be accredited because right now, like you said, that everybody kind of has access for the most part.
Well,
You can
it's
see.
not them. It's the SEC. Like it ain't them.
Oh, okay. Okay, SEC, right. Excuse me.
All
But
right.
that they're
So,
basically like the SEC anyway.
no, they're
But
not.
anyway, I know what you're saying now. Um,
So the
but
SEC
yeah,
is
so
the governing body of these. When it comes to tokenization of securities, even unregistered securities. All right. So um, I'm just going to say it because I'm just I don't want to keep running in circles. Man, listen, there is no there is no secret door that retail can get into that's going to give you a little leeway. It's no secret door. So either you can create your own value, become accredited, or uh become accredited through your knowledge or through your valuation. Or you better be building on this blockchain, knowing how to code, knowing how to or trading. But you see what's happening with the trading. Like, hey man, trading gonna be where they probably be like, you gotta be accredited to trade.
right. You know, I feel you. It's gonna be the haves and the have-nots. I mean, for the most
But
part,
that's not saying you can't be the have right now. If you
well,
put
that's
yourself
my point.
yes,
Right. No, I see what you're saying.
all right. We still confused, Justin. I'm
We
dead
ain't got
serious.
enough. We ain't got enough time, bro.
No, it's only 8:45. We good. I ain't going to work tomorrow. So
Nah, table it.
I get it, but I'm like I'm saying, man. Go look at what SEC is saying about tokenization. I'm not saying that you're not going to be uh valuable. You are, but I'm saying, hey, man. When it comes to the average Joe Schmo, are they creating? Are they closing the doors? Yeah, they are. But you can see that with the Clarity Act too. Like, hey, man, if you hold your crypto on the cold wallet, it ain't gonna be insured. You see what I'm saying? So if a ironic cyber attack happened and wipe out all these cold wallets, it wasn't insured anyway. And since it's decentralized, there's nobody to cry to.
So you saying Death to the Cold
Can I
Wallet?
say something real quick? So can I say something?
What's up?
I think that a lot of the misconception, and this my because I'm a teacher, so this is my teacher voice. I think a lot of the misconceptions come from the not understanding exactly what the SEC does and how the SEC actually governs and manages the financial body of the United States. And in saying that, I think of a lot of misinformation comes from not reading the rules and the financial rules and regulations of what everyone can do and what everyone can't do. So there is a list, there's a tier, just like there's a caste system in the United States, there is a financial caste system in the United States. So as Dee was pointing out, if you're not an accredited investor the same way that it is now, you will not be privy to a lot of the opportunities to invest or to move your equity on the blockchain, your value on the blockchain. A lot of these big money companies are private. So more private money moves a lot. I guess I should say private money moves different.
It moves easier.
Yeah, just how the United States is a corporation and they set up Ethereum, and now we have this whole blockchain system based off Ethereum. All of that is private because, like Dee said, it moves easier. But the part that they want, the part that they give us for the public, we don't know exactly what that entails yet because they're still setting up the whole they're still, I guess, for selective, whereas they're still building the rules and regulations for the private sector first. So when the private sector comes in and are aligned with and kind of align themselves with the existing financial laws and rules and regulations and policies, then it trickles down to retail.
Mhm.
So nothing is really going to change. It's just the way that we move money, it's going to be different. But as far as like you getting super rich, let's say you have, like you said, let's say you have 1,000 avalanche or something. Well, you have to figure out what you're going to put on top of that avalanche in order to be able to move it to make yourself valuable. Does that
But if
make
you don't
sense?
got nothing, it's over. But
For
that
the
doesn't mean yeah, I'm
does that,
sorry. Mr. Timberlake.
where did he go?
Oh yeah, I can definitely I can take that answer. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? When it comes to we don't necessarily know how it's gonna lay out. And there might be fewer doors, fewer doors for retail down the line. Well there
Well,
definitely is gonna be fewer doors, but
well, definitely retail. We're seeing the beginnings of it because even with the
mhm,
NFTs, I had did a deep dive on NFTs and was amazed at what they're projecting the market of NFTs to be about the year of 2030. You know, right now it's what maybe hundreds of millions, whatever. But like NFTs, this is a real thing and open doors for retail. But when you're talking about like the policies that govern certain areas, certain financial tiers, it's going to be the same thing. BlackRock,
mhm,
Citadel, Synergy, Coinbase, for all intents and purposes, they are invested in the United States, which is what at a
mhm.
level we don't get a chance to do. So they're not trying to rub shoulders with retail. That's not our tier. You know what I mean? It's almost like there's
I can
almost
see
like a financial cash system.
yeah. Well, a company like Coinbase, I kind of feel like, well, do they lean on retail a good bit? Like,
Well,
what
that's
would it look like
Coinbase
if they cut them out?
Well, they
because
lean on retail for the trickle down. They lean on retail to get the. It's almost like having a. Let's look at Coinbase as a company. right? They have an
Mhm.
upper echelon brand and they have a lower echelon brand. The upper echelon
Mhm.
brand of Coinbase is who they invest with and who they partner with. For example, Coinbase is partnered with Bank of America, they're partnered with Wells Fargo, they're partnered with BlackRock, they're partnered with Citadel, they're partnered with all these Fortune 500 tier companies that really move trillions. But the lower echelon is the retail. It
Mhm.
moves trillions, but they're moving trillions like, hey, $4.99 for this transaction, $2.99 for this transaction. You get 500 million people to transact at $2.99, then you're talking about big money.
Right.
But does that make sense?
For sure.
You said sure,
I see
like
both.
really. It makes sense.
I said for sure. For sure.
Oh, you said for sure. Okay, now I know you understand. You
Yeah.
said for sure. Just look at
Yeah.
Coinbase, different upper echelons. Coinbase is partnered with who know Ethereum on some things. That kind of upper
Mhm.
echelon we don't get to do. But hell, if you want to open up a wallet and have 10 million people invest and it costs them $1.99 a month, you're talking about small pockets of money.
Right.
$1.99 a month for 10 million people.
And then Coinbase One and other, I think, what's the other Coinbase they have for
Coinbase
institutions?
One, Coinbase Prime is for institutions and accredited investors. Coinbase One is for retail, like myself, who want to pay for the monthly subscription to have the taxes done and to do the no transaction fees. And then you have Base for that. Then you have just regular Coinbase for people that are just kind of trying to understand how to move and how to shake.
All right, so this is where the upper echelon come in at, where it's like the Coinbase we know of is just smoke and mirror, but all the real money is gonna be traded on this right here.
And they move in trillions. They move in billions and trillions with billion and $1 trillion partners.
So all I say is just the game. It's just a whole smoke screen for
Yeah,
retail.
for all intents and purposes, oil companies. Coinbase could be right in there with the oil companies. You know, Shell Oil Company, Valero having a Coinbase Prime account where they're holding different assets.
All right. So like I said, this whole call was supposed to be about getting rid of that USD ideology. And we still using USD, so you still can DCA into certain projects. But however, when things truly become truly USD list, I don't want people panicking and thinking that they lost their bread. Now, when your crypto has no USD value, now you got to go and see what's the utility of it. Like, do you know the utility of these projects that you're having? And once you do that, now you can be like, all right, cool, I can use it. But if you can't use it, then there you go. So, however, if you can use it, you can play defense good enough to where you can acquire a RWA and tokenize it, or you can acquire um, other forms of value. So now you don't got to be sitting here jobless, stuck like Chuck because you don't know how to move on a blockchain. All right. And that's kind of why I make myself accessible. Like, hey man, if you don't understand something, just DM me. And if I can answer it, I can. But we can't be too cool for school here. And then when everything transpired, now we got all the questions. No, we need to start asking and engaging now. So now when everything happens, we already prepared. We already know our tribe. We already know who's who, who controls what. Like, we already know these things. But please don't get surprised by. There's not going to be a market crash. All right. There's not going to be a real estate crash either. A real estate crash is when it crash and resets. No, they're gonna freeze. They finna drive these prices of this real estate up, freeze it, and tokenize it, and move it on the blockchain. So now that inflated value, just like Elon Musk, that inflated value is already tokenized. So we're not going to make it go back down, and it's not going to go back up either. Now we can trade it up, but it's not going to inflate up. So that means it's not going to be a market crash. It's a market abandonment. They're going to abandon this old market. So we brought up the Dallas Stock Exchange is because I ain't saying the New York Stock Exchange is going to go away. It's just that old form of doing stocks and things is not going to be good. Everything got to be running 24/7 because everybody else stock exchange is going to be 24/7. So that's all. Any questions? So any blockchains somebody want to look at or need help looking at, or just want to, if you feel like you hold a security and you want a better understanding of what it is, it's just ask now, but if a crypto or a YouTube influencer telling you to buy a coin and you buying it because they're telling you to buy it and you don't know what it is, now's the time to ask, all right, this is what it is. So I can help you with that. But however, you need to know what you're buying, because see if you can use it or not in the future. So, and kind of go understand what a circular economy is, how everything is shrinking, you know, and everything is shrinking. But we could be self-sufficient and produce our own. That's kind of why he's trying to push all these companies to come back to America, because everybody has to be self-sufficient from a global standpoint and from an individual standpoint. All right. That being said, if there's no more questions, I'm gonna go and sign out and slide on y'all boys. So, but yeah, thank y'all for your time. But yeah, if any questions now, but yeah, just drop USD ideology. You still can use it, but don't think you holding crypto is going to get you a high USD valuation, and that's not the case. Your valuation is going to come from your tokenized assets, not crypto. Because they're not going to be looking for what crypto you hold in your wallet. They're going to look for what did you tokenize.
Where can I go and rewatch these recordings?
Mr. Timberlake.
They're on our YouTube channel. Let's see. I'm gonna post a link in this chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right. No other questions? All right, y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all, folks.
Appreciate it.
Coming, bro.
All right.